Hi, and welcome back to the video walkthrough for the Team Dealer Brand Ratings Report. For this section of the report, we'll take a look at the concept of brand points. So what exactly are brand points? Well, think of them as a way to directionally determine the weighted average amount of sales with a given brand among each football category. Again, it's the weighted average amount of sales for a given brand for a specific football category. Now this calculation is going to have three variables that come into play. First one is a percentage of sales for a given product category. So for instance, a certain brand might have 70% of a dealer's sales for the category of helmets. The second variable is the given product category's percentage of total football sales. So for instance, helmets might make up 10% of that dealer's total football sales. And this third variable is a dealer revenue multiplier based on a dealer's total tackle football sales level. Okay, and as you can see, we have four different revenue multipliers here that increase as total sales for tackle football for the dealers increase as well. So having a percentage of sales from a bigger dealer, the ones that are more towards the bottom here, will carry more weight than having the same percentage of sales from a smaller dealer up at the top here. Okay, so that's kind of how the revenue multipliers come into play here. So if we look at an example that we have here, we have a certain brand XYZ, and they have 70% of dealer A's sales for helmets. Okay, so that's this first variable here. And helmets account for 10% of dealer A's total tackle football sales. So that's the second variable here. And total tackle football sales for this dealer total 1 million or more. So that means their revenue multiplier is 400, which is this third variable here. So to calculate the total number of brand points, we take 0.7 times 0.1 times 400, and we get 28 brand points here. So next we have the same brand, but we have a different dealer. So we have dealer B. So brand XYZ, the same brand, has 50% of dealer B's sales for helmets. That's this first variable here. And helmets account for 10% of dealer B's total tackle football sales. So that's the second variable here. And tackle football sales total between 250,000 and 499,000 for this dealer, giving them a revenue multiplier of 200. So then we take 50% of 10% of 200, or 0.5 times 0.1 times 200, and we get 10 brand points for this dealer. So what does that tell us? Brand XYZ has a higher amount of brand points from dealer A, 28 versus 10, because brand XYZ has a higher percentage of dealer A's helmet sales than it does for dealer B. Okay, so 70% versus 50%. Dealer A's revenue multiplier is higher because dealer A's total tackle football sales are higher than dealer B's. Okay, so revenue multiplier of 400 versus 200. Okay. So as we look at, as we take the same example that we just went over from the previous slide, okay, so that's basically summarized in this top chart here. And we keep the same universe of dealers, dealer A and dealer B, so we're only looking at two. And the same values for each of the three variables here. And these are the three variables that we have here at the top. We're still looking at helmet sales. We can now see what happens when we add in multiple brands to the equation. So we have a second brand here, brand ZZZ. Okay, so again, we're still looking at helmets. Brand ZZZ has 30% of dealer A's helmet sales, and they have 50% of dealer B's helmet sales. Okay, so the values for this variable change. The values for these variables actually stay the same as we have up here, because these two variables are specific to the team dealers only. Okay, and we carry out the calculations for the brand points. 0.3 times 0.1 times 400 gives us 12 brand points, and 0.5 times 0.1 times 200 gives us 10 brand points for this second brand here. Okay, then we look at the total brand points for each of the brands and divide the total number of brand points available. Okay, so we take the total number of brand points for each one of the brands, that becomes our numerator, and then we divide by the total number of brand points possible. Okay, so for brand XYZ, they have 38 brand points here in the numerator. Divide that by the total brand points possible of 60, which is the total number if you would add all these up, and that calculates to 63% of the brand points. For the second brand, we do the same thing. 22 divided by the total possible number of brand points of 60, and we see that this brand has 37% of the brand points. So in this example, brand XYZ accounts for 63% of the weighted average brand points for the category of helmets. Okay, and we can see also from this example how the revenue multipliers come into play, because if we were just looking at just a straight average for this particular brand, 70 and 50, that equates to 60. And so because of the dealer revenue multipliers, the weighted average percentage comes out to be 63. So hopefully that gives you guys a little bit better idea of the concept behind brand points.